to call tonight's board meeting to order. Ms. Laura, can you do roll call, please?
Yes. Member Ciociola?
Present.
Member Core?
Here.
Member Lamb?
Here.
Member Pretty?
Here.
Member Quilty?
Here.
President Domi?
Here. Thank you. We're gonna be going over information on closed session agenda items. Are there any public comments on closed session?
There are not.
Okay, awesome. So part of closed session, we'll be talking about conference with labor negotiator, personnel listing, and public employee discipline dismissal rules. There's nothing else, we're gonna go to recess to close. Okay, I'd like to go ahead and call back to open session. We're going to stand for the pledge of allegiance. Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any requests for agenda reorganization? Okay. There's one thing to report out of closed session. By unanimous vote, the board took action in closed session authorizing a separation agreement between the district and the assistant superintendent of human resources. Number 9, student reports.
Okay. Good evening to the school board and audience. Just to reintroduce myself, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Simi Ungo. I'm a senior at River Valley High School. I used to be last year's school board rep, but now I'm still in ASB as the senior class president. I'm here filling in for an update on River Valley. We had our senior nights at the end of October and the beginning of November, which were a great success. It was amazing to celebrate all of our seniors who have been committed to their sports, showing their dedication and passion. I want to give a big congratulations to April Anguiano, who is a senior at River Valley. She's a multi-sport athlete. She does cheer, cross country, and track. We're very proud to say that she is the recipient of the Northern California Sports Association Scholarship. We're very happy that she definitely deserves it. I also want to recognize our girls tennis team. Congratulations to Valeria Ramirez, Sana Palo, and Claudia Dudek for going to the San Joaquin sections. They actually made history. They won all their matches the first day, making them the first RV girls to make it to day 2 of sections. Valeria won her semifinals match and made it to the finals. Claudia and Sana made it all the way to semifinals. We're very proud of them. We also want to recognize our girls' flag football team. It was their first year. We had just started our flag football team and they had an amazing season. All of our fall athletes and coaches did an amazing job this season, and we are so proud of them. We're really excited for winter sports to start soon. And on Halloween, we had our annual fall festival where we had a costume contest, our club sold foods, and our kids participated in games, activities, and there was just so much to do. It was really fun. We had Fall into Leadership last Thursday, where River Valley ASB works with YCUSD to put on an event for the young leaders in our middle schools and elementary schools. I was personally in charge of legacy with some of the YC leaders, and it was really important for me because it's my senior year and I really had to think about what legacy I'm leaving. And I just think that this event is so amazing and makes a great impact on the young leaders in our district. Now, this week is pretty busy. We had a well-appreciated break yesterday, and I think we really needed it. Tomorrow is our student council meeting during Falcon Hour, where ASB, clubs, athletics, and other students around campus will gather to stay updated on events and learn how we can better support one another and our school community. Tomorrow night is also our academic night, where we recognize the amazing students in good academic standing. Also, we will be hosting a 4.0 party for them to celebrate the students this Thursday during lunch. And I'm very proud and happy to report that around 400 students all had 4.0s or above this quarter. I believe that's a quarter of our school population, which is amazing. Finally, on Friday, we have our annual Punjabi Day, which is hosted by our Punjabi Club. Many of our students will be doing a performance, selling food like samosa, and just celebrating with music and dancing. It's a really fun annual event held for celebrating our different ethnic cultures. Also, our annual food drive has started, where our Falcons, either in their classes or clubs, will donate meals for those in need. This will end on November 20th. That same day, the 20th, will mark the start of our annual giving tree, where students and their families can pick a tag off our tree to help give kids presents for those in need. On the 21st, we will have our Native American dance at lunch. One of our students actually reached out to ASB and leadership to organize this, and she held it on her own last year. And it was an amazing experience for us all to come out and watch. And I'm very glad to see this tradition continue on and for it to become an annual event. With the holidays approaching, we are in full swing, and soon we'll be leaving for Thanksgiving break, coming back, having our Winter Spirit Week finals before leaving back for winter break. These last few weeks will be very busy, but a lot of fun. I know that's a lot, so I'll leave with that. It's really exciting to be back here again and speak in front of the board. I always love my time here. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, board audience. For those who don't know me, my name is Carmen, and I'm the Yuba City High School representative. So to start off, some things that we've been doing recently are planning dances, such as the junior class has been wanting to held a winter formal. It's usually during Valentine's Day, but we want to do something different this year, so we're thinking a winter formal. And then some of the ideas that Senate came up with was a Yule Ball. It's like Harry Potter themed. And then we've been working on a canned food drive, which has been going on since October 29th, and it's gonna end November 19th. And then students are competing for class points. And I know some teachers are doing it where there's a bunch of prizes if you donate cans, extra credit and stuff. And then the class of 2027 is throwing a movie night which is coming up. And we had our first Friday free throw contest, I think last Friday. It was pretty fun. There was a lot of student engagement. And then in the last few weeks we had our Spooktober, which is a Halloween festival. I know for younger kids Harvest Festival, but for Yuba City High School it's a fall festival where there's a bunch of stuff to do and there's a maze. And there was scares that signed up for the week. And then this last Thursday we had our Fall into Leadership Conference, which RV worked with us at the Hope Point Church to run younger kids through leadership. And my group was School Spirit, but it was really fun because we were teaching them chants and stuff, and all the kids were super active. And it was just really nice to see unity between both schools, because sometimes but and then the kids were very involved, and it was fun to see. It gets better every single year. I went last year too. And then our motivational speaker was D. Hankins. He did a great job, and he had a bunch of quotes and stuff that really motivated people. And he talked about how we should do our work first and stuff. And then we had different breakout groups teaching kids different ways to run a leadership class. And then we had our homecoming, which was hosted by the senior class, so they could earn money for their senior year. And there was a lot of student involvement, and the students said we had a good DJ and stuff, so that's something that's good. And then we've been working on a Mel Good rally, because it's a little different this year since the basketball ends up during finals week, and we can't really have a rally on a minimum day, so we have to work out how we're gonna do the Mel Good rally, and we've been working on that in ASB. And then one class that's been doing really good right now is the advanced sportsman class. The sportsman students have got CPR certified, and we worked on job shadowing. Mr. Limber is running everyone through how to do portfolios and resumes, and yeah, that's about it.
Thank you.
Staff recognition, employee recognition.
Evening Board of Trustees, staff, and audience members. Tonight we're excited to recognize some exceptional district staff who shape our culture of excellence. We know that staff recognition increases productivity and promotes employee retention and encourages continuous improvement and helps us achieve our vision statement of being lifelong learners. All of this has a positive impact on students and helps Yuba City Unified School District achieve its mission statement of preparing the foundation for each student to build tomorrow's world. So with that, I'll turn the podium over to the exciting presenters, starting with Principal Ariano, who will be presenting our staff from Yuba City High School, and then Director Cutts.
So, it's not presenting here, but can I talk about our new?
You absolutely
Okay.
can. Please do.
Thank you. We already agreed that we were going to do something tomorrow to acknowledge. So some of you might know Ellie Villarreal. She's worked at Yuba City High School for, I believe, about 20 years in the admin office. So she was, and that's her there in the picture. That's pretty much what you will encounter any day that you come into the admin office, is that huge smile that's so sincere. So Ellie just has a huge heart for kids. She sets the tone for the administrative office. It's a safe place for kids. She keeps kids accountable, but as well as just being really a caring and concerned person for them. So we wanted to acknowledge her for those qualities that she brings to Yuba City High School every day. I'm sorry that she's not here to hear it in person, but she's not a huge fan of like public recognition. So we've already decided that we're gonna bring her flowers and donuts tomorrow, and also a huge can of whipping cream, because that's one of her favorite things. That's it.
Next up will be Director Cutts, who oversees athletics for our school district, and he'll be presenting 2 awards.
Thank you, Mr. Pogue. Members of the board, Superintendent Asumi, it's with great pleasure that I have the opportunity tonight to recognize 2 exceptional individuals, both of whom exemplify high character and dedication to their schools. I've had the privilege of meeting with them regularly throughout the last 3 years, and I'm consistently impressed by how they balance the many demands of being athletic directors while maintaining such high standards of excellence. Their ability to manage multiple responsibilities with professionalism and grace is truly admirable, and I deeply appreciate their patience even when progress doesn't happen as quickly as they would like it to. More than that, I value the way that they work with each other to not only build pride within their own schools, but to strengthen the overall sense of community here in Yuba City. First tonight, it's my privilege to stand here and to recognize an individual who's truly made a difference at Yuba City High School. Over the past three years, Maury Castaneda has served with an unwavering commitment, an incredible work ethic, and a deep passion for supporting the student athletes at YCUSD. As athletic director, Maury has shown what it means to be a true advocate for students. He understands that athletics isn't just about competition and winning. It's about developing young people into strong, resilient individuals, both on and off the field. Whether it's working to ensure student athletes have the resources they need to excel, or making sure that their safety and well-being are always a top priority, Maury has consistently put the needs of students first. What truly sets him apart, though, is his ability to be solution-oriented in the face of challenges. In any role, challenges are inevitable, but in the world of athletics, those challenges often come fast and furious. Equipment issues, scheduling conflicts, budget constraints, lights not working, and the always present pressure to balance the academics and athletics. Maury doesn't just identify problems, he finds ways to solve them. And whether that's thinking outside the box or working collaboratively with coaches, parents, and staff to create a plan that benefits everyone, he always approaches every situation with a focused and results-driven mindset. Maury sees opportunities to improve, and in every success, he sees an opportunity to build. It's because of that mindset that we're proud to have him as our athletic director at Yuba City High. So on behalf of the Yuba City Unified School District, I want to express my deepest gratitude to Maury. Maury, your dedication, your advocacy for students, and your remarkable ability to turn challenges into solutions have had an immeasurable impact on the Honker community. So thank you for your outstanding leadership.
Thank you.
I'm not done.
Oh,
Not yet.
I'm sorry.
Where you want me? Yeah. You're my good son. I got a bad ear to good ear. My mentor, I did.
Congratulations.
Thank you. All right.
All right, it's also my honor to recognize another exceptional individual who's made a tremendous impact at River Valley High School and the Falcon community. In his time as athletic director, Phil has strived to build a strong, supportive environment for both athletes and coaches alike. He's worked tirelessly to ensure that our coaches have the tools and resources and backing they need to succeed and to foster high-quality experiences for student athletes. One of the most remarkable qualities of Phil is his advocacy for coaches at RV. He understands that coaches are the backbone of any successful athletic program, but it's not always easy for those coaches to navigate the demands of their roles. From managing team dynamics to preparing for games and balancing the academic needs of their athletes takes an extraordinary effort. And this is one area where Phil truly shines. He consistently advocates for the needs of our coaches, whether it's ensuring they have professional development, resources, lights on a field, and support they need to do their best work. It's clear that he values them as essential leaders of the culture at River Valley. Equally impressive is Phil's incredible organizational abilities. It takes a great deal of behind-the-scenes work to keep an entire athletic program running smoothly. And Phil has shown time and time again that he has the systems and the structures in place to keep things organized and on track. Whether that's scheduling games, coordinating transportation, managing budgets, or ensuring that all the logistics are handled with precision, Phil's created a well-oiled machine that ensures everything operates seamlessly. This level of organization doesn't just help the department run efficiently, it allows our coaches and athletes to focus on what matters most, their performance, their growth, and their success. Under Phil's leadership, the athletic department at River Valley has continued to thrive through many highs and lows, but the true measure of success is not just in wins and losses, it's in the environment of respect, support, and collaboration that he has cultivated. So again, on behalf of the Yuba City Unified School District, I want to extend our gratitude to Phil McCauley and thank him for his dedication. It's made a huge impact on the athletic programs at River Valley. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zach.
Way to go, Philip. Number 11, reports and information.
Yes, tonight we have students from the Guitar Movement who are going to give us an update regarding some of their initiatives going on in our schools. So I invite them up to the podium.
Which one of you is going to do the presentation? You can just click forward and then it'll.
Good evening, board members, and to all in the audience. My name is Harleen Kaur, and I work as a Health and Wellness Fellow for the CAD program, a high school internship program offered through the Jagata Movement. The Jagata Movement is a nonprofit organization that works to grassroots community building, working to empower, educate, and organize working class Punjabi Sikhs and other marginalized communities to advance their health, education, arts, and culture, economic, social, and political power. The CAD program in Yuba City, now in its 4th year, has 8 interns total this school year, 4 from Yuba City High School and 4 from River Valley High School. We have previously worked with local community organizations such as California Health Collaborative, the Sutter County Tobacco Control Program, COPE, Community Overdose Prevention Efforts, and others to help promote substance use awareness.
Today, the interns are excited to share with you what this program entails, sharing some previous events and work they have done, the program's ultimate mission, and also sharing information about a student survey they conducted, the importance of student-based wellness centers, providing more resources, and the accessibility of Narcan on their school campuses.
The CARE program is Chicago Movement's statewide peer-led initiative internship program focused on harm reduction and substance use prevention. Since 2020, the program has expanded to 9 campuses across 6 school districts in California. All 70 high school interns are certified in CPR and Narcan administration, equipping them to professionally handle substance-related incidents. The students also work closely with school facility and health departments to promote harm reduction, peer education, and health resources while fostering community engagement. We have led various on-campus campaigns to educate and engage our peers, as well as hosted community town halls to raise awareness and involve local community members.
Earlier this year, we held a town hall right here in Yuba City, educating members of our community on tobacco and other substances, in addition to the effects of long-term use of these substances. A major part of the discussion was the prevalence of substances such as vapes, e-cigarettes, or marijuana on school campuses, and the normalization of substances in younger demographics. Moving forward, the CARE program hopes to increase the availability of Narcan, prevent fentanyl or other opioid-related overdoses, empower individuals to make responsible and informed decisions when it is appropriate to do so, and to work with local schools and communities to promote harm reduction, peer education, and health resources through the community engagement.
In a survey shared to both Yuba City and River Valley High School students, it was found that over 150 students have personally witnessed substance abuse on campus. When asked which substances were most prevalent, an overwhelming majority answered tobacco and vapes with 205 plus responses. In second place was marijuana with 22 responses, and in third place was opioid and pills with 2 responses. When asked, does your school have enough resources to help struggling students, an overwhelming majority answered no with 139 responses. When asked what steps can be taken to help improve this issue, students responded with smoke detectors for vapes, more education on how drugs affect your body and life, asked students why they're using drugs in the first place, focus less on punishment and more on prevention, target kids vaping in the bathrooms, stop locking the bathrooms as it punishes all students and does not effectively address the problem, special counseling services for those caught using substances, reduce vaping in bathrooms, and ensure security treats everyone fairly.
Wellness centers, student health. A wellness center is a school-based health center that focuses on the health and well-being of the students. These centers are located at or near school campuses and are organized through school communities. They provide clinical health care services and include qualified healthcare professionals. Both campuses currently have spaces dedicated to some type of wellness center, but these spaces are not being utilized correctly.
Importance of wellness centers. Wellness centers are a convenient place for all students to visit as they provide such services that some kids are unable to get out of their outside lives. Services such as therapists, counselors, or any other healthcare professionals can be provided to all students for their well-being. Kids can use these wellness centers as a place to wind down or try to relax. It ensures students that there is a place for them on campus that cares about their well-being.
Besides wellness centers, other resources schools can provide are on-school therapists. Right now, our counselors provide aid to students who need someone to talk to, but our counselors have many responsibilities and are not reliably available for students who need help. This is why on-school therapists would benefit students with someone they can always rely on. We could also implement a campus health committee. The committee would include health professionals, administrators, and community members. They would design and implement campus-wide health and safety initiatives, including drug prevention policies. We can also create a use and recovery service. This would provide help to students struggling with mental health and addiction. It would include education about drug use and mental health and on and off campus programs. This would promote long-term recovery in students.
Well, this year we're focusing on mental health and wellness centers. We also want to recognize the critical need for Narcan access and education to remain a priority. Narcan is a life-saving medication that can reverse an opioid overdose quickly and has no negative side effects if given mistakenly. In the past 3 years, CAT has attended multiple school board meetings to emphasize the urgent need for Narcan availability due to the rising youth drug use. We've also held a joint meeting with both Yuba City and River Valley High School principals and Ms. Sasumi, where we expressed concerns about the lack of resources in Narcan. After that meeting, we were informed that Narcan was ordered and is now available in the nurse's office with security and for teachers who want to have it in their classrooms. To highlight the importance of being Narcan certified, we also presented at a YC staff meeting. Almost 50% of our teachers are now Narcan certified or at least aware on how to become certified, with both principals in favor of expanding this initiative. However, during recent meetings with both principals, we were informed that Narcan is still not directly available for all teachers. I want to take a moment to highlight Fresno Central Unified School District. In this district, Narcan has been mandated in every classroom and is even on school buses. The reasoning behind this approach is that just as fire extinguishers are accessible in every classroom and are considered a standard safety measure, Narcan should be equally accessible given the rise of opioid-related incidents. The Fresno District's proactive measure came about because CAD students advocated strongly for Narcan access. Though one concern may be funding, I want to emphasize that cost should not be a barrier here. Programs that we have collaborated with, such as COPE, offer free Narcan to those who need it, including schools. Overall, we urge the school board to consider mandating Narcan in classrooms over campuses as a preventative measure.
From the governing board's goal, list, one of the goals is for Yuba City Unified School District students to achieve their ideal potential with academic and emotional support. The utilization and development of school-based wellness centers can help advance this goal, because they will provide students with the resources they deserve to reach the highest level of potential they can. To conclude, as there are very few students on our campuses who advocate for drug prevention and awareness, we would like to see schools provide more resources and education on campus. To improve Narcan accessibility, why wait for an incident to occur to make changes? Why not implement these safety concerns to help prevent and prepare schools in advance? We hope you take our advocacy into consideration and help provide more resources and support to students. As we continue to do our work, we hope that you do as well. To the board members, thank you so much for listening to our presentation, and hope you connect on this topic soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Comments from the public on items not on the agenda.
Yep. Items not appearing on the agenda, notice to the public, the Brown Act, specifically Government Code Section 54954.2, provides that no action or discussion shall be taken on any item unless it is adequately described in a timely posted agenda. Accordingly, though the public may comment on matters within the board's jurisdiction that do not appear on the agenda, the board cannot respond to such comments without running the risk of deliberating or initiating discussion on topics not properly before the board. Given the prohibitions set forth in the Brown Act and the risk associated with responding to public comments, the board does not respond to the community's questions or comments. And items posted on the agenda. Under the Brown Act, the board shall entertain comments on any item appearing on the posted agenda. As the board discusses agenda items, audience participation is permitted. Generally, the president will ask board members for their remarks before recognizing requests to speak from the audience. At the president's discretion, agenda items may be considered in other than numerical order. The board will respect the rights of the public to express their viewpoints on matters within the board's jurisdiction. However, comments that are defamatory or that violate the privacy rights of any students or individuals may not be protected by law. The board shall not permit any disturbance or willful interruption of board meetings.
Thank you. We have two requests to speak. First one's Raquel Stevens.
Good evening, board, staff, and audience. My name is Raquel Stevens, and I am a bus driver in your transportation department. And I was here last year to let you guys know how our transportation yard was in need of more gravel or whatever it was going to take. We had big puddles and holes. It was kind of dangerous. And tonight I'm here to say thank you. Thank you for listening and for caring. And you guys took immediate action. And it has made a huge difference to everyone out there that's in that yard. I'm not really sure how it's going to hold up with the weather, but it's coming. It'll let us know. But in the meantime, I just want to thank you so much. It has made a huge difference for all of us out there. It is very much appreciated.
Thank you. Rob McLean.
Giving me a little time back there. Good evening, Yuba City Unified School Board. My name is Rob McBains. I'm currently the baseball coach at River Valley High School. I'm also now, I guess, one of the art duty supervisors at Terra Buena School. Recently retired, but I'm still continuing to do the baseball thing. I just came here to remind you that sometime earlier in this year, we were here to discuss lights for our fields. I would just like to put a little reminder to you guys that we're still interested in that. We would like to obviously discuss that with you at a later date if that's possible. Maybe get on an agenda where we discuss that. I've heard there are some plans for large projects within the district in concern with lighting. I just want to make sure that we have our chance to present to you guys what we really feel will help our students by keeping them in class, to have lights on the varsity baseball fields so they're not always getting out of school at 1 o'clock to get to games and things like that. Just if we can get that opportunity, we would very much appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, are there any questions on the consent agenda? If none, can I get a motion?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, on the motion by member Core, second by member Quilty, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Action, public hearing, I guess I have to open this. Let's open public hearing and potential action to approve board resolution.
Yeah. Perfect.
Is it your turn?
Thank you for opening the public board meeting. And so this is follow-up to discussions we've already been having. In October, we had presentations regarding solar for the school district. And we actually had SiteLogic present. They're here in the audience today. We have Jennifer Butler, Eddie Jordan, and Taylor actually presented at the last board meeting, along with our financial advisors, Capital Public Finance Group. So just very generally, this is the scope of the project. I'm not going to go through that again because we really did that at the last meeting. But it's solar power generation at 13 sites. Along with that, we have 41 electrical charging stations. Anytime you do a site upgrade, you have to do certain things. Part of it is ADA improvements, Americans with Disability Act, and also this is a requirement for this project. The time horizon for the project, it is somewhat of a quick turnaround, so that's kind of why we're going now. There's a lot of pre-work that has to do, engineering, design, DSA approvals, but actual construction will most likely start somewhere in the spring of 2025 and be completed in April of 26. We do think LED lighting is a major improvement that we need to do. It's not part of this project. That doesn't have the kind of hard deadline that this does, so we really want to focus on the solar part of it. But we will be coming back looking for approval on an LED lighting project here pretty shortly. So kind of the process is a design build contract as part of that resolution that we're approving tonight. And the project will be funded through a debt financing. we'll bring that information back to the board in December, so we'll basically have an informational meeting in December, and we'll move forward with more of action items in January. And a big part of the savings, at least in the first part of this whole project, is going to be a $7.2 million credit back to the district due to the Inflation Reduction Act. So in October, we really wanted to see if this was of interest, explain the project. We kicked the tires a lot back then. We looked to see if it made financial sense, if we get, make sure we get the project done in time, and it all, made sense then, but there's a lot of work between then and now, and that is really kicking the tires. So we have a lot of work with SiteLogic. We brought in a third-party consultant, NV5, so they are an energy consultant, engineering. They really helped us focus in on the project to make sure that we were getting everything right, make sure the cost savings penciled out. They're very helpful in kind of asking some of the hard questions. And it was a really good collaborative process with SiteLogic because, we're all looking at this process together and we're asking hard questions of them. And SiteLogic was very forthcoming. They worked with us. We had a lot of discussions about contract language and timelines and how we're going to get things done. So it was a very collaborative process, I thought. Also, Capital Public Finance Group was part of that whole process as well. Our law firm, F3, excellent at they have a lot of experience doing this type of work, so they knew a lot of the questions and contract stuff that we needed to review. And I've been part of working groups before that. When you have this, degree of scrutiny, that looking under the hood, you get some defensiveness. That didn't happen here. It was actually a very good process. So I was very impressed with our entire team through this process. All right, so that's all. Thank you. So just to review kind of the benefits, pros and cons of this project. Really, the top one is this is going to be a substantial cost savings to the district. It also does get us in compliance with state building codes and laws. We hope this will also bring in some leveraging some of the state modernization funds. We're taking advantage of that NEM2, that grandfathering into the solar, which has much better rates that we can take advantage of. And then really just less reliability on the power grid. That just kind of gives us, a little bit more control over our future. But when we're looking at these, the cost benefits, one of the very conservative assumptions that we made was a 3% escalation rate on electric rates that we pay. And we've all seen our, electric rates go up probably a little bit more than that. So we think, even with a higher escalation rate of electricity prices means that this is going to pay for itself even more. So we're very conservative on that part of it, and it still pencils out very well. Of course, the risk, we are taking on debt to fund this project. Now with that rebate of over $7 million, part of our financing, that would actually pay back some of the debt that we take on to do this, but the rest would stay on for 20 years. This is the overall project cost, just broken out. We got equipment, engineering, labor, all the other costs that go into doing this project. It's a little over $30 million. We have some money in there for contingencies. So these are things that you just don't know, which, we've seen. We've done a lot of shade structures and playgrounds. So when you're digging on the ground, there's certain things that can go wrong. So we've seen that a fair amount that able to get through, but there's some unforeseen costs that could very well, be part of this process, and we expect. And then the savings for this project, I just picked some, 5, 10, 20, and 30 years. The solar is, guaranteed for 30 years. We expect it to last a long time. You see, we really get substantial costs when you go further out, but even at the 20-year mark, and that's really when our debt, goes to, we're seeing about $10 million of savings. These are, again, very conservative assumptions. I think there's a good chance that the savings will be higher than that, but for this type of analysis, we just want to be conservative. And for the next steps of this, so in December, we're going to bring another informational meeting because we really need to fund this. So we're going to review the financing. And then in January, we would be approving the financing, and we'd be issuing the debt in somewhere around April to pay for the project.
Thank you, Scott. Are there any comments from the public? Nope. I'm gonna close. One second. I'm gonna close public hearing and it'll be ours. Close the public hearing and then speak.
I don't remember, are we gonna have like solar batteries,
No,
with
so
rolling blackouts and, the high wind days, they turn off the electricity?
that's not part of this plan. Yeah, and it's funny, we had a lot of conversations about that as well. I've learned a lot about solar generally, but the solar battery technology isn't quite there as far as a cost, it making sense cost-wise to do. But yes, there are other advantages to doing the battery backups, but that's a little bit more part of the next NEM, the current, I guess, solar program, NEM 3 is what they call it, takes more advantage of the battery backup systems, but the cost benefit isn't there yet.
Gotcha. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to make sure I understand this correctly. So this is a $30 million project with contingencies built in.
Yes.
However, we don't see a $30 million savings until year 30, 10 years after the, because the system is about 20 years is the lifespan of the system.
30, yeah.
Oh, it's 30.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll pay it off in 30 years. I mean, it'll pay for itself in 30 years.
So it starts paying for itself within the first few years, but we don't see, and then when the debt's completely paid off, obviously, we don't have the debt payment, so it's all interest savings after that.
Okay.
But over 20 years, well, even during the portion that we're carrying the debt, we're looking at roughly $500,000 a year in savings.
Okay. And NV5, I was looking at their findings, but I didn't really see what their findings were. They were the ones that went through to make sure, kind of auditing the proposal and the setup to see, what was, do I have that correct, NV5?
Yeah, so NV5 was really, I would say, our, we'd call it a double check, just kind of going through, making sure the assumptions made sense, that the project costs were reasonable, that the timeline was reasonable, that everything, the contract language, they provided input in that and how to structure the contract. So they had a lot of inputs in doing other prior solar projects and helpful to the process. Yeah.
Right, because we voted on their contract.
Yeah.
To do that last board meeting, right?
That's right.
Okay. So, but then I saw on the attachment, I saw, 6 pages that didn't really have, oh, well, this is what we found. So are they still in process doing that, or are they done? Because theirs, I see, what the scope of the project is, which we already know what the scope is, but.
So they provided a lot of behind the scenes, and also the financial analysis that's in that report, in this resolution, is their analysis. So those are their numbers, and so there are definitely a lot of adjustments that we made through the whole process. There were some things that, well, we think we need to increase the, projected cost for this, that, and the other thing due to their recommendations. So their analysis is in that, and like I said, they've been, helpful in a lot of other ways as well, but those are the numbers that are in their resolution.
Okay. So you're asking for potential action to approve the board resolution?
Yes, we are. Yes, after we close the hearing, we're asking for approval of the board resolution, which allows us to enter into the agreements.
As well as the contracts for each of the schools.
Yes.
All right, can I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we approve.
Second the motion.
On a motion by member Pretty, second by member Quilty, we'll do roll call for this.
Member Ciola?
Yes.
Member Carr?
Yes.
Member Lamb?
Yes.
Member Pretty?
Yep.
Member Quilty?
Yes.
And President Tommy?
Yes. Thank you. B, YCUSD December board meeting date to reschedule.
Yes, so as you recall, there is an education code that requires when the organizational meeting can happen, and it happens within the 15-day period. And so our meeting was scheduled too soon, so I need official board action to move our organizational meeting, the regular board meeting, and the financial corporation meeting to December 17th.
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second. Okay, on a motion by member Pretty, second by member Core. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. C, final reading for proposed revision to board policy 5131.8, mobile communication devices.
So, based upon feedback from the board at the last meeting, there was some restructuring in terms of making it more user-friendly for families, and so I've moved down the exceptions down to the bottom, but nothing else changed except for the realization of the content.
Any questions? Okay, can I get a motion, please?
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
On a motion by member Ciola, second by member Pretty, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. D, second reading of proposed policy revisions.
Thank you. I bring back for second reading and approval the board policies presented in the board packet and index.
Any questions? Can I get a motion? Or do we need a motion?
Yes, you do.
Move that we approve.
I'll second. Okay, on a motion by member Pretty, second by member Core, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. E, student attendance calendars for 25-26.
It's that time of the year we're doing the calendars for next school year, the student attendance calendars. We have one set for YCAA and for Albert Powell High School, and then we have the second one is for our K-8 school, TK8 schools, River Valley and Yuba City High School. Some similarities and some differences, so pretty similar to this year. We do have one difference in terms of August. We really worked on with our calendar committee and with our partners on having the same PD day for all district and to make sure YCAA and Albert Powell are included. So we do have the same PD day on Monday the 11th. So that is a difference from having it on Friday. And then in October, we had our student non-attendance day this year at Monday. We moved it to a Friday to butt up with the PD day. So those are the two main differences. The start time is similar in terms of mid-August for all the schools versus YCA and APHS. They're a week earlier because they're on a different schedule. And they still have YCAA and Albert Powell still have their week off in September. And that's similar to previous years. And the end date to school is still the first week of June.
Any questions? Can I get a motion?
So,
Just kidding.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
So this has been worked through with both YZTA and CSEA?
Yeah. Okay. We had our calendar committee meeting, I think, 2 to 3 weeks ago. And we had representation from CSA and YCTA on that parents.
I just find it interesting, there's only a 2-week one of them.
What was the only one 2 week this year? Yeah.
And that is something we want to, moving into next year, we want to revisit that again next year in terms of the 3-week versus the 2-week. Because there's, like any decision with the calendar, you have various opinions.
Sure. Well, you also have 2 weeks. You have a whole week in February and a whole week in April.
Right,
So,
right.
Well, in September for the Independence Academy.
Right.
September. Well, they go they're different schedule. Can you like it?
I move that we approve.
Second.
A motion by member Pretty, second by member Ciola. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. F, youth course proposal for the 25-26 school year, cybersecurity, STEM capstone, and ethnic studies. We do have a comment from the public. You can go ahead and have the comment first. Katie Woolman.
Good evening, board. Brett and I have been working with the team on developing the ethnic studies course over the last 2 years. We listened to the questions that some of you had last meeting, and we'd like to address each. One of the questions was on our reasoning for having the course be a junior-senior course. We envisioned that this is a senior course after students have the background from U.S. history as a junior. We felt that having that background would give them the foundation to many of the topics we're going to cover in ethnic studies. However, we wanted to give the option for juniors to take it, for those that are graduating early and or for those that want to reduce day for their senior year and are ahead in their credits. We offer government and economics to juniors for the same reason, and our GovEcon teachers have a handful of juniors every year. The second question we wanted to address dealt with the rigor of the course. The standards that Tino outlined are just that, they're just standards, like a class outline. The coursework is going to be developed over time, and each teacher is going to adapt as necessary to the level of their students. We're participating in professional development several times over the course of the year. We attended our first one at our PD on November 1st, and we have another one this coming Tuesday. We also are going to have 3 years to pilot the course and its curriculum to adjust the assignments and assessments before the course goes live as a graduation requirement. The third concern that we would like to address is the inclusion of the LGBTQ plus community within the ethnic studies framework in our district. I'd like to begin this discussion with a quote from the course definition from the CDE addressing this exact topic. And I quote, "Central to any ethnic studies course is the historic struggle of communities of color, taking into account the intersectionality of identity, gender, class, sexuality, among others, to challenge racism, discrimination, and oppression, and interrogate the systems that continue to perpetuate inequality. The CDE also recognizes, and I quote, that people have different overlapping identities, for example, the transgender Latina or a Jewish African American. These intersecting identities shape individuals' experiences of racism and bigotry," end quote. As a history course, and we argue that this is in fact our history course as we go through the histories of groups of people and their experiences within this nation, it is actually quite common to look at other types of intersectionality. In a U.S. history course, we cannot discuss American involvement in World War II without first establishing how the war began in Europe, something that had little to do with the United States. When we discuss immigration, it's imperative to understand the push factors in Eastern Europe or Latin America that lead so many millions of people to our borders. In our government course, although the focus is on American government, we often compare a democracy to other types of management, such as unitary systems. Economics is a unit on globalization that would be impossible without a discussion of the labor practices of less developed nations. These discussions are not lengthy and don't take up tons of time, but are necessary for overall enrichment of the course. This focus on intersectionality means that even though a topic may not identify directly with the ethnic studies, it doesn't mean that it's not necessary for the course. Our goal is to include all students in the discussion and help all students find their place within the course. We are going to have white students that may not identify much with their own culture. For example, the extent of my cultural practice includes kolache at Christmas and corned beef and cabbage in March. But we're going to offer other options to explore their identity, as evidenced in Unit 2 and Unit 8. And this can include LGBTQ, religion, class, culture, age, citizenship status, socioeconomic status, language use, ability, disability, all of which are listed in California Department of Education as possible options for students. Ultimately, the LGBTQ piece of Unit 7 will only last a few days at most, similarly to the background info that we would provide in the other history courses. But with the mental health crisis among our LGBTQ youth, I feel like we can spend a few days to include them within ethnic studies. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
So we have 3 courses. The first course, we have 2 new courses and one we brought forth last meeting as a public hearing, which was ethnic studies. So the first new course we have is called cybersecurity. At both of our high schools, we offer Project Lead the Way. It's a biomedical engineering computer science program that we offer our students. We also offer it at our middle schools with medical detectives and robotics. So the cybersecurity course is a capstone course for computer science, and as I think we've all attested that we need that in our schools for students to become more proficient in computer science. So that's the first one. It's a Project Lead the Way capstone course. It is for our CTE students. So they would take their intro course, their concentrated course, then this would be an option for their capstone course. And if you complete a capstone course, you're a CTE completer, and so it's a pretty good opportunity for kids. The second course is called STEM Capstone. This is originally When you take a engineering course in our district, you take intro to engineering, you take principles of engineering, and you take engineering design development. And it's a really cool course where you get to design a prototype. So you take all your skills from those classes, you get together in a group, and you develop some sort of prototype. So this STEM capstone is a little different because you can have students from computer science or engineering take this course, and it still counts as a capstone course for Project Lead the Way and as a CTE completer. So super exciting course, 2 courses that are new. We're excited to get to have those next year.
What is Project Lead the Way?
So it's basically, it's like a national curriculum.
Okay.
And so it's been around, it really took off in 2006, 2007. So it started off with engineering and then biomedical science. And then about 6 years ago, they included computer science. So they have a really good curriculum, and our teachers get trained for about a week or 2 weeks in the summer, or you can do it during the school year on your own time. We pay for that. And it's basically a STEM courses. And they're really, and they have really good professional development opportunities for the teachers. It's a great program. And in the 3rd course, we had public hearing on is our proposed ethnic studies course. And that would be a pilot for the next 2 years. And then it would be a requirement for the graduating class of 2030. And staff seeks approval of those 3 courses.
Any questions?
I don't have any questions about cybersecurity and STEM capstone. Again, my ethnic studies, I reread the standards, and again, when it comes to Unit 7, I feel like all of those subcategories that are not ethnicity could, if you want to, move those into 8, where people are talking about their own personal, which we heard tonight, their own personal experience with that. And bring those in, but using it as ethnicity studies, it's not, because those are not ethnicities. And I understand personal identity and cross-sectionalism. I think we have a missed opportunity in this course. There's some good stuff in here with regards to history. I love history. I love it, all of it. I love it. But again, going back to my previous comments from our last meeting, what our missed opportunity in here is that, again, after studying all of this, there seems to be no unifier within it, right? Like I mean, when you look at the people on this dais, like, I see in here the marginalized groups that you're including are women. Well, I'm not marginalized. We're represented as leadership. We have a superintendent. So I reject that as a marginalized. I am not marginalized. And so there's no, and so that's separate. Again, as I said before, female and male is not an ethnicity. But once we study the history, right, then also having within that all of the ways in which we have shared histories, even if I'm not East Indian, or I'm not Mexican, or I'm not El Salvadorian, I'm not that, right? And yet we have a global history of our ancestors overcoming oppression, all of us do, or having been the oppressors, and then finding that personal way. See the part in Unit 8 where it's like, hey, how can I be a force for good? But the wording is my community. Is not America our community? It's like that transcends all the individualized groups, and yet we are all still, like I said, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if that is the force behind ethnic studies, is how do we become that indivisible with justice and liberty for all, and and all of the ways in which we are the same, as opposed to parsing and dividing and then making subcategories of and calling people marginalized when, like, maybe we were, but thanks Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony, appreciate you for helping us to, you know, make those steps, and so many other women along the way. But again, if you wanna put that in any, when people are talking about their own, they're doing the research, they're doing Ancestry.com, they wanna find out, I think that's awesome. They can choose which groups and what those, and make those, but as far as us presenting them as like, this is ethnicity studies, oh, and here's all the marginalized people, I'm a student in your class and you're like, well, women are marginalized, I'd be like, no, like, this is the best country in the world to be a woman. This is the best country in the world to be lesbian, bisexual, whichever. This is the best country in the world to practice your religion. And so I didn't see any of that in there, which again is disappointing. It's a missed opportunity. And so I'm unless that Unit 7 component can be moved down into Unit 8, making it compulsory for the students who wish to examine that in their own personal identity slot, then I cannot go forward with it as it's written, personally.
You can make that recommendation if you'd like, and I think that's the board's discretion, right?
It is.
I think personally, I think that moving it into 8, where it's an opportunity for individuals to study it individually, is missing the whole point. And while I appreciate that you don't feel as a woman that you're marginalized, I don't know that all women in this country feel that way. I don't know that all LGBTQ people feel that way. And I think that while it's a lofty goal that we're all one, I think we're still a long ways from it, and studying ways in which our uniqueness blends together is a good thing. And I think Unit 7 lends itself extremely well in helping kids understand how that happens. The bullying that takes place with our marginalized communities, and that includes women at times. It also very much includes our LGBTQ plus community. I think it is our duty as public school to make sure that we inform our students of everything that's out there so that they have the ability to use their own free thinking and critical thinking skills to understand the world that they live. So I actually think that the proposal as written is extremely well thought out, and I do understand that, as Katie said, the portion of it that deals with LGBTQ, and I never say all that right, but anyway, the portion of it that deals with that is about a 3-day at most portion of the course, and as always, people can choose to opt their child out. If I was teaching Lord of the Flies to my sophomores and a parent had a problem with that book, I would make an alternate assignment. I see absolutely nothing wrong with that, with a 3-day part of a thing, and I don't see that that is a good reason to hold up this class.
So I'm not hearing anything negative about the cybersecurity and STEM capstone, so can we take a motion on those two pieces, and then we can take the ethnic study separate, if that's okay?
Make a motion that we approve cybersecurity and STEM capstone.
Second.
Okay, on a motion by member Ciociola and a second by member Lamb, can we do roll call on that as well?
Member Ciociola?
Aye.
Member Corr?
Yes.
Member Lamb?
Yes.
Member Pretty? Yes.
Member Quilty?
Yes.
Member Jarman?
Yes. So for ethnic studies, is there further discussion that needs to happen, or is there?
Well, the only point I want to reiterate again is that this is not the only class where we study in our schools the contributions and the journeys of those non-ethnic groups. That's the point I'm getting to, is sex is not an ethnicity, sexual identity is not an ethnicity, and so, and we do have units that we are compelled to teach regardless, but that we teach with regards to the contributions and the journey of those groups. We have that. This is not the only class for that. And it doesn't, but those are not ethnicities. It doesn't fall in ethnic studies. But like I said, those people who say, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, and it's not an ethnicity, then that's Unit 8, where they can study it. But this isn't the only place that we study the contributions and journey of LGBTQIA, like individuals or females or, all these non-ethnic. So again, I'm sticking with ethnicity studies. So that's the final thought.
I'd like to make a motion that we move what Kirsten stated into section 8, to unit 8.
I'll second that.
I was going to move that we approve as is.
I don't know exactly how much of the course we're allowed to change.
So you have a motion on the table in a second, so to move the unit 7 into unit 8, and so you'll need to take action on that item first.
Can we do roll call?
Yes. I did hear that right on the first.
Those particular
The intersectionality is down to section 8, unit 8.
Member Ciociola?
Aye.
Member Core?
No.
Member Lamb?
Yes.
Member Pretty?
No.
Member Quilty?
Yes.
Member Jami?
Yes. Okay, motion carries.
We have 4 yeses and 2 noes.
Okay, G, Alevo Expanded Learning After School Program.
We currently offer Alevo in our after school program, and they provide mentoring, coaching, and athletics. And this helps our kids. The kids are there after school for a while. A lot of our kids are, and so we want to keep them active and engaged. And so this is adding an additional day to our after school programs that we currently offer. So we seek approval for adding an additional day to 8 of our schools.
What day don't we have? So if we're adding a day, what are the days that we
Currently don't have Monday, which is what the day we're adding.
Okay.
Any discussion? Get a motion?
I make a motion we approve the Alevo Expanded Learning After School Program.
Second. Motion by member Ciociola, second by member Lamb. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. H, non-public school contract amendments.
We currently contract through, as you know, in July we contract through Cinnamon Hills, which is a non-public school agency, and so is Sierra School Sacramento. So we have placements in those 2 schools, and we're seeking board approval for student placements at those 2 non-public schools.
I just have a question or comment for superintendent. I know that in my role outside of the board, there's been some discussion about possibly having a non-public school within our community. Do you know when that would come to the board?
So we're actually the campus would be Central Gaither. We are meeting with and interviewing non-public schools with the SELPAs in a few weeks. If this were for the board to enter into an agreement with the non-public school for the use of our facility, the opening of the non-public school would be in the fall of 2015.
What would be the purpose of this school?
So that would serve our students that are currently taking a bus down to Sacramento for non-public school placement and be able to be served here locally.
So, special education?
Yes, students with disabilities, yes.
So,
I have a question.
separate, sorry. I digressed into something else that's not pertaining to this, sorry. Well, kind of, sort of.
I have a question about Cinnamon Hills. Can I ask that?
Yeah.
The Cinnamon Hills contract? Okay, so this is for special education, right? So, and how many days a year do we, 180? What's our?
180 days.
188, okay. But I couldn't help but notice on page 2 of the contract, right? We are paying for psychological services for 365 days at a cost of $100.35 per session. But again, for every single day of the year. So, talk to me, Goose.
Yeah, these are
jump in.
Yeah.
So Cinnamon Hills is actually a residential placement, and so the student actually will be residing there, and therefore it's not the typical 180 days of instruction that we provide within our schools here. And so the student may be residing there for the full year, and that's why I think the contract is written that way.
So then we're not paying for their education, we're also paying for their healthcare and their living.
No, so sometimes we have students that have exceptional needs.
Sure.
Right? And
Right.
so they require, for their independent living skills or whatnot, they require residential facilities to be able to meet their needs.
For the school year, for school, because we're education
So
services,
yes,
right?
you are correct that there is a cost to the district for the student to reside in the non-public school.
All year round.
Generally, it's not all year round. There is, well, so depending on the student's needs, sometimes they are able to come home. I don't know the circumstances around this particular student. I think they're looking
There are
at,
some certain students who have
you do have,
exceptional needs.
they aren't able to come home.
But we're legally obligated to pay for their healthcare, their residential, their living, and
Not their healthcare.
no, well, we're paying for what do you call this, psychological services?
So educationally relevant psych services. So like, it could be counseling, it could be one-on-one, it could be assessments.
It's like
it
we
could
have
be-
school sites.
Yeah,
But not 365 days. We don't pay for 365 days for them. That's what we're doing at Cinnamon Hills. But we're legally obligated to do this?
Yes, so because of the nature of the needs of the student, they're being recommended for placement outside of the home and also for the educational purposes. And I think that these students, because of their extreme emotional needs, that you would see that there is probably a component of some type of psychological services, because that's what's, I would assume in this case, is preventing the student from academic and emotional success.
and a student that is being recommended, sorry, I might be overstepping, but a student that's being recommended for residential placement is a student that has like if you're looking at it from the spectrum, right? That is your most restrictive environment, the most restrictive. Even an NPS is less, or traditional NPS is less restrictive than a residential placement.
Right.
So this student in particular cannot be served even in the non-public school setting, which could be like, I mean, the staffing ratio, even on an NPS, is like, it's not 1-to-1, but it's pretty, I mean, very low.
I guess my question is like, I understand like educationally, we're on the hook to provide an education. But I guess my question is why is there not because there's also a health care component of this. So why is there not another partner in with us?
I mean, we have health, like certain students have nursing services as well.
So I hear what you're saying, so I hear what you're, in terms of another outside agency, if that were the case in certain circumstances, there are other agencies that are, might be obligated to provide this level. There is not in this case. It's the student, I believe, is not it's not a foster student, it's not a adopted student, and so the onus on us, and again, this is not very often that we recommend a residential non-public school placement, but because of the needs of this student, that is the offer that the IEP team has made.
Okay, because it's, almost $250,000 a year.
It is a lot.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion by member Donnie, actually I didn't say that the other time, sorry Laura. And a second by member Brady, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Board reports, information, discussion, are there any committees that met? I don't think so. Okay. And then written communications from the public, there are none. Comments from employee representative.
Good evening, board, staff, and members of the community. Whoever's up there.
I'm Mercedes Geraldo, and I represent our classified employees here at Yuba City Unified. I'll start out with a congratulations shout out to Allie Villarreal. She is amazing. I've worked with her for many, many, many years, and she truly does always have that smile on her face and just loves kids. Absolutely loves them. She's the friend to the friendless. If they're in need, she's there for them. So she well-deserving award. The district has, we've been working really well together to work some things out that maybe have been amiss over the past. Our first thing is catastrophic leave bank, which is something that's in Ed Code that we provide. It's in our contract, and it just kind of fell away. Nobody was doing anything with it, and so we've made a concentrated effort to get this going again. HR has put out an email to all bargaining unit members that are eligible to join the catastrophic leave bank and giving them an opportunity to join a little bit off normal time, but we're waiving those 45-day waiting period if they need anything. What the catastrophic leave bank does, it allows employees to donate one sick day a year to become part of this bank, and once all your leave is exhausted and maybe you're out on some major illness, something going on, and you've lost all your leave, you can use the bank to get time out of it. It keeps them in paid status longer. So it gives them a better opportunity to heal and come back to us stronger and better. So it is a great opportunity at really not getting cost to anybody other than losing a few sick days. We have started our job description task force, and we're going to meet again this week. And Rob Hook and I today kind of came up with an agenda and a progress how we want to look at going forward at this project, and we're really excited about it. Our members are excited about it because most of our job descriptions are from 2000. I'm stopping there because there's no number after that 0, which is way too old for job descriptions. Job descriptions should never last 20, 25 years. So with tonight's announcement, we're hoping that doesn't derail us on negotiations, because we've just started our negotiations and we're looking to continue to move forward on this. And last time I talked to you about the para conference, and I'm always relentless on the para conference. We are one group of classified employees that works consistently with students is our para educators. They're in classrooms with teachers, they're with the kids after school, we have a lot of us, and they're everywhere, right? With hardly any training available for them. So the para conference that CSC puts on gives us an opportunity to get some really good relevant training in various different types of disciplines, if you will. Maybe it's on music in a classroom, or how to deal with behaviors, or different special ed ailments, autism, that sort of thing. But also for the general ed paraeducator, it's not just for special ed. So we really are hoping that not only can we send some special ed paraeducators, which we've consistently done over the years, but add in some of those TK paras, maybe some of our ELOP paras, and really get some groups there and get trained on some relevant training to help them do their jobs better and be better for our students in our classroom, because our students deserve not only a qualified teacher in the classroom, but they deserve a trained para that's working next to that qualified teacher, and where we can all be on the same page. So that is in March 11th through the 13th down in Ontario. And through the Chikara movement presentation, it kind of brought to mind that we did have an offer of Narcan and Narcan training on campuses for staff. But our bus drivers have not had that opportunity, and they should at least have the opportunity to do it. And maybe some of our other departments that are not necessarily right there in the school sites, but they are around kids, because everyone in this district is around kids at some point in time, and we want to make sure that we have that opportunity to save their lives if necessary. So have a good evening.
Thank you. Sure.
Mercedes, can I ask you a clarifying question? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Is that okay? I just want to ask a question on the conference, because prior, when you had mentioned the conference before, you had said that they have to be a CSEA union
That's true, they do have to be a CSE member, and that's kind of, they bounce back and forth on that depending on.
Well, for this coming year, they don't.
They do have to be a member, but the good news is that most members are there, so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually been like that more times than not, that you had to be a member. They're around COVID and that sort of thing, they kind of relaxed it, but we sell out, so you have to
pay for the training, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I looked it up, you don't have to be a CSE member to go to the conference. I just wanted to clarify.
Well, and then last when I saw this, so I kind of go back and forth because I'm like, no, you don't have to be a member. Then I read it does. So,
I just don't want to hold that opportunity from people just because they don't pay union dues.
I understand, but that's not my call to make. Okay. So I wouldn't want to.
No, I got you.
Miss everybody out.
It was just a clarifying question.
No problem. And I will double check for you.
Thank you.
Good evening, board members, staff, anybody in the audience. I'm Dee Lukens, President of Yuba City Teachers Association. I've got a couple items I'd like to address tonight, but I'm going to start off on the best of all. I want to celebrate Liz Braun and Mary Patton. Tonight you took action with regards to the retirement of Mary Patton. At the previous board meeting, you took action on the retirement of Liz Braun. These are two long-standing Yuba City Unified employees who dedicated their lives to serving our students. Liz Braun was in YCTA for 19 years, starting in 2005 as a school counselor. She began her career in the City Unified in classified ranks. She is one of those shining examples of how we can support our educational employees to continue to grow in their practice. Liz Braun is the counselor at Gray Avenue, and as such has been a strong advocate for the students of Gray Avenue and all their special needs, and has gathered together for them a wealth of services. So Liz Braun will end her career at Yuba City Unified at the end of 2024. Mary Patton began her work in Yuba City Unified in 1992. She served Yuba City Unified as a classroom teacher for 32 years. She was in that first teaching group at River Bend when River Bend opened. She's been a lead third grade teacher and an amazing partner to that third grade team down at River Bend. In addition, Mary Patton served on the YCTA bargaining team for a number of years. So I would like to thank Liz Braun and Mary Patton for their many years of service. Moving on to retirement, let's then move on to the next chapters of their lives. Mary Patton is currently out on leave and her retirement will be effective in April, but regrettably will not see Mary Patton back in her classroom again. So best of wishes to both of them in retirement. It's that time of year for our TK5 teachers. It's report card time. If you've never looked at K5 report card or TK5 report card, you're missing out on a wealth of information and lots of information that sometimes may not be useful to a parent who's not an educational professional, but nonetheless, those teachers put a great deal of time and energy into using data to give parents feedback on all of those items. And to help them understand all of those items on the report cards, they hold parent-teacher conferences. So we're at that time of year too, where there'll be a week of shortened days so that TK5 teachers can parent conference with each and every parent of every student in their class. It's a busy time of year. And then I'd like to recognize the work of our educational professionals, including those in our CTE pathways. Cyber security is a exciting new course that I think will be very relevant for our students going forward. I'll address the other one in a minute. I'd like to thank Ed Services and particularly Tino and the work of his department in developing the calendar. It really was a collaborative effort. It engaged us all in a process of looking at how do we best put together a calendar for the following year. YCTA survey for calendar suggestions asked questions like, all right, 3 weeks at Christmas or 2 weeks? But to get 3 weeks at Christmas, you gotta give up that week in February, and do you want a week off in September? If you do that, school has to start a week earlier. And we asked, we've got much better at asking our questions so that we get the data that helps us inform the district as to the majorities, preferences. This year we had 400 plus respondents, so it's kind of the best we've ever done on how many people weighed in on where they stood. And I will tell you that 60% of them were in favor of the 2-week winter break, which is different than it had been in the past. So people's perceptions change as they continue to experience new calendars. But I will acknowledge with Tina that we're not gonna make everybody happy on the calendar. So we're just gonna do the best we can and hopefully come up with a calendar that serves the educational needs of our students and the needs of our staff. I would like to thank this board for your continued work on the cell phone policy. We are seeing, we're seeing the impacts of making a huge concerted effort as a staff to say cell phones have no place in the classroom, and we need to help our students to learn how to use their voices to talk to each other instead of texting each other when sitting next to each other. But those devices do come in handy sometimes to do research. And along that line, I'd like to conclude with my disappointment this evening. The ethnic studies course was the charge from the state. And the social science teachers worked for 2 full years to develop that course based on the model curriculum, based on the framework, based on their charge as educators, to help our students recognize our diversity, to respect our diversity, to come to understand our diversity so that they can be better humans and better able to interact with humans in our very diverse world. And that comes from understanding our different perceptions of the very same world. Some of us may not feel marginalized, but some people in the very same groups may feel marginalized, may feel as though they are not treated fairly and equally. And that is a perception, and we all need to come to recognize each other's perceptions of the world and better understand each other. And that is what the course was in part all about. And I want to read to you from the model curriculum. And this is what your educational professionals spend a great deal of time to address. And this is just one of the quotes. Because of the interdisciplinary nature of this field, ethnic studies courses may take several forms. However, central to any ethnic studies course is the historic struggle of communities of color, taking into account the intersectionality of identity, gender, class, sexuality, among others, to challenge racism, discrimination, and oppression, and interrogate the systems that continue to perpetuate inequality. I've been trusted as an educational professional to deliver quality instruction to my students. Nobody ever said, Dina, what are you doing in chapter 8 or unit 8 in your chemistry course? It is disappointing that you told educational professionals that we don't trust your judgment with regards to how you interpreted the state model curriculum. And it's in there, it's in the model curriculum. They did their due diligence. They spent 2 years of work. So I'm deeply disappointed in your actions tonight. Katie Woolman and Brett Hyde came to 2 different board meetings. Katie Woolman addressed you tonight in a highly articulate statement with regards to the importance of this course. This course is our state's opportunity to help us all better understand one another. And there is nothing wrong with us better understanding one another. Katie Woolman is a nationally board certified teacher, and you told her tonight your judgment is less than ours. I'm disappointed.
Amen.
Comments from board members? I have one. To piggyback off of what Carmen had talked about with Fall into Leadership, Member Lamb and I had the opportunity to go. It was the first time I've ever been, and I was amazed at how awesome the welcoming was for all the young leaders, how both of the high school leadership teams had just embraced the kids coming in. I think I had a smile on the entire time. I was just so happy. And so were all of the kids. And I didn't stay for very long, but it was an awesome experience to be able to see just what leadership looks like from a very young age to a very, mature age, I would say. So I had a great time, and hopefully I get to attend next year as well.
Mm-hmm. And who's louder?
Yeah.
It's all about how loud you can be.
Yeah, they were loud.
Yeah.
They were very, very loud. Okay. Comments from superintendent?
Yeah, I just wanted to, piggyback, yes, the high school students do an amazing job to plan that, work together, and provide an excellent opportunity for our younger students to learn leadership and what they can bring back to their schools and get their students engaged in their school culture. So thank you to our high school students and our advisors at our elementary and middle schools, along with our ASB advisors at this school. It is a big project, and Amy Murray, along with the committee who start working on that now, setting dates to make it happen. So thank you to everyone, and thank you for Member Lamb and President Donlin for being there. We have a government liaison meeting on Thursday at 3:00. Is that the right time? No, 3? I have
This Thursday?
Yes. Member Orozco was on that committee as well, and since he's not here, if there would be someone who'd like to come to the meeting on Thursday at 3, the city and the county are there with us and kind of just give updates. It's at 3:00?
Correct.
Here in the DL.
I'd love to. I might not be able to attend.
Okay. So Member Lane, would you like to attend?
Yeah, Thursday at 3.
Thursday at 3 here. And then also, just pretty exciting, our 2 athletic directors are not only our athletic directors, but also teachers in our district. So compliments to both Bill and Maury for the work that they do on behalf of our students and our student athletes. But exciting news, our River Valley High School girls tennis team is playing tomorrow in the San Joaquin Section Girls Tennis Championships. They are playing at UOP under Division 4 at 10 a.m. So let's wish them luck. Go Falcons.
Sweet. All right, next board meeting is December 17th. Open session is at 7 p.m. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. On the motion by Member Ciola, second by Member Lamb. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.